All right. This topic, converting rates and measurements, is a really important topic. So I would take all the time and effort you can on making sure you got this one down, because this one is really important. Because we're going to see this, and if you get this unit conversions later, one of the trickier things in chemistry class is stoichiometry. Stoichiometry is basically the same thing, and so if we get the one down, then it's easy to get the other down. So let's take a look at unit conversions. We're gonna jump in with some examples. If you're in my class, then in your textbook, there in the very last page, there is a list of unit conversions. Like there's this many, this and that and that and this and all that kind of stuff. You may use that in your book. If not, then you may, if you're not one of my students, you may need to look up some conversions and some of those things. I know that and if you're doing this at home, I know that you'll be tempted to just, Google it. And that is fine. And that does work like in a real life sort of a situation. But the problem with doing that is that you're not learning some of these. If you just do that for your homework, don't do that for your homework. Because you're not learning some of these fundamental skills that are going to pay off later. So I strongly encourage you to not just cheat and look up how 760 miles per hour converts to miles per minute, because you could just Google it and it'll give you the answer, right? But don't do that, because if you learn how to set this up now, it's going to save you lots of time and trouble later. So I encourage you to do that. So the way I teach unit conversions is the same at every grade level, every single one of them. So the first step is to write the given with units. So we're going to write 760 miles per hour. Then we put it over 1, right? Now, if we are not in the units that we want to be in, we want to be in miles per minute. So we've got half of it. We've got miles, and we want the hours to go away. If we're not where we want to be, then we put a times fraction bar. And I also encourage you, and this is, again, prep for doing this with other things in chemistry, and that is to put units first and then come back and put numbers. This first example is only a one-step deal, but you'll see what I mean when we do a more complicated one. So we do times fraction bar. Then we put what we're converting from, so hours, in the opposite place. So if it was on the top, we put it on the bottom. If it was on the bottom, we put it on the top. Right? So we're converting and we're trying to get rid of hours. And the reason we do that is because now hours cancels with hours, right? So we're going from hours to minutes. Do we know conversion from hours to minutes? Well, yes, we do. And we're now in the units we want, miles and minutes. So now that we're in the units we want, we go back and fill in our numbers. I know this feels like a lot for a problem like this, that it's fairly obvious, right? We're just going to divide by 60, but excuse me. But I promise, if you get in the habit of doing this way, it's going to make your life easier, and it's going to help you out later. Okay, so we're going to put 60 by the minutes and 1 by the hours, because there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now that we've got our kind of roadmap all laid out and ready to go, now what we're going to do is we're going to either multiply or divide. On the top of the fraction, if a number is on the top of a fraction, then we multiply, and if it's on the bottom of the fraction, then we divide, right? So we're going to do 760 divided by 60. And we do 750 divided by 60. Then we end up with 12.7 miles per minute. Okay. That's not so bad. Let's do one that's got some more steps to it and some more meat on its bones, shall we say. All right, so let's kill that off, that and that, bring it there. Now, three and three friends. No, how about Tyree and three friends attend skydiving class before their first jump? Very smart. Don't just go jumping out of planes randomly. Learn how to do it first. The instructor tells them they will travel at about 176 feet per second. We want to know how many miles per hour this is. And this makes sense because our brain's kind of thinking miles per hour because, driving, right? So our steps are the same to begin with. We're going to put the given with the units down first. So the given is 176 feet per second. Oops. We put this over 1. Now, we don't want feet and we don't want seconds, so we need a times fraction bar. So if we're not where we want to be yet, we're going to do times fraction bar. Let's go ahead and take care of the feet first because we may as well. So we're going to cancel the feet. Since it was on the top, we're going to put feet on the bottom. We need to go from feet to miles. Do we know a conversion for feet to miles? Well, yes, we do. Feet to miles. So that's nice. We just had to do it in one step. So so this one cancels with that one. And we're in miles, which is what we want. That's good. But we don't want seconds. So we're going to go ahead and do another times fraction bar. We're going to cancel the seconds, so we want to put seconds on the top. Now, do we know how many seconds are in an hour? Now, you might, but we're going to assume you don't. We're going to assume that we've got to go to minutes first. So seconds, and then we're going to go to minutes. So the seconds cancel with seconds, which is good, but we're still not where we want to be. And if we're not where we want to be, we need another times fraction bar. So we're going to put another times fraction bar, right? And then we need to cancel the minutes, so it's going to go up on top. And then we're going to put hours on the bottom, which is great, grand, and glorious because we want miles per hour. Right? So now that we've got it all laid out, we're going to go back and fill in our numbers. So how many feet are in a mile? Well, there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now we're going to multiply on the top and we're going to divide on the bottom. Okay, so if you're doing this with a calculator, which at this point in my pre-algebra class, more than halfway at point in our course, we have a calculator, right? So if you're doing this on the calculator, this is what I want you to punch, and I want you to punch it just like this, okay? The nice thing about punching it this way is that it works the same way whether your calculator is a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator or a little bitty dinky 4-function calculator or even, heaven forbid, a cell phone calculator. This method of punching these in works the same way for all of them. And we're going to go across the top first. And we're going to punch in 176 times. We can always skip the ones because the ones aren't going to change anything. So times 60 times 60 divided by, skip the ones, 5,280. Now, as a point of understanding, let's say this was 100 instead of 1. Then you would push divided by 100. So everything on the bottom, you're going to hit that divide button, right? Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And then when you do that on this particular problem, when you punch all of that in, we end up with, got that done over here, 120 miles per hour. Wow, that's super fast. Sounds a little bit scary, but it's okay. Okay, totally okay. That's unit conversions. This is an important topic, so I hope you got this one down really well. I think I might have an older video on this topic. I don't remember. You can check back to the beginning of the world, and if I do, it almost certainly has even more examples than this. So Thank you guys. If you're one of my students, I'll see you in class, do your homework, all the things. If you're not one of my students, thanks for joining us. We've got this entire pre-algebra course, the lectures at least, available for free here on YouTube. What would really help us out with that is if you hit that subscribe button and maybe even a like button too. Comment down below how we can help you in your math journey, your science journey, or just homeschooling in general. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.